Welcome once again, folks. I'm going to do now, because it's 40mm today, I'm going to do the flesh and hands on this fellow. I'll just bring in the light a bit more, makes life a lot easier for us all. So yeah, so we're going to crack on with this, doing the flesh. Now, as I've previously stated on the channel, I do stupid things actually. As previously stated on the channel, I'm going to be working, hopefully, and completely with Cote d'Ar's paints. I've got to order some more yet. I've only got, I think, 15 or 16 paints at the moment. I used to have loads on them, but yeah. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to test myself yet again and, test the paints. So the first one, base colour, is 124 Dwarven Flesh. Now this is most probably going to have to take 2 coats. I don't usually use these artist trays, but I'm doing it just to make life that little bit easier. So a couple of bits of water in there. Yes, it thins the paint off, but you really do need it to be thin, to be fair. So, should never do that with your brush, leave them stood in the water, tip down. But right. So what I'm going to do now is apply the base colour. I'm using an old brush, just getting it in to the base area. I'm sorry if the camera shakes. I've got a decent quality stand. Can only afford to buy what I can afford to buy at the moment. Probably thinking, well, you can afford 40mm. Sometimes on eBay you can drop on some at the right price. So I'm overlapping now, it's going over roughly over other stuff. I'm not particularly bothered about that at the moment. At the moment it's just about getting the flesh laid down. For saying this, that the heat wave is over in England. Yeah, it's still hot enough in the flat for me to have to put a fan on. You might hear that in the background, I don't know. And yeah, still causing issues with painting. But you rise above it best you can. So yeah, I hope everything's still on screen. Oops. So you can see some of it's a bit patchy in places. So I'll just give that a quick rinse out. Touch of water on my brush, just a touch. Keep it thin, the paint. Don't want it too thin. We should be putting more than 2 coats on. But keep it malleable. Don't let it heavily dry out, and then away we go. Back over the areas we did before. This is a little bit too runny, but it's not desperately bad. Doesn't matter if you go over the air a little bit at this stage. It's about coverage. Do try and be neat if you can. I mean, I'm really using the wrong size brush for this, but I'm just doing it for speed more than anything else. So hair on the figure. There's a terrible hair stuck in there. Got it. Yep, so what we're doing is a secondary coat and just let that stand and dry a minute. Now there are some colours I will be using and you think, oh, they're not coat arms. That's bone, bleach bone. The old Games Workshop first ever range of paints they did. They're the same company that makes these. So the bleach bone will be exactly the same as the bleach bone you can get from Coat Arms. I haven't got that colour, so I'll be using that today to help me blend and do stuff. Got the washes, Flesh Wash and Helium Red from Duncan Rhodes. I prefer these than the new batch of some of the colours that Games Workshop have done. These dry matte, the other ones have a bit of a gloss. And this is an old Druky Violet I've got as well, so that'll dry matte. So yeah, so they're all important. So let's just check to see if the paint is dry. Seems dry enough. It's not pulled anywhere. I was a little bit there. No, it's just not quite dry, so we'll just wait a little bit longer. This is a process of doing things live. I don't know how to edit. A lot of things do me head in. Well, it's modern technology. I've only been doing this 2 months. I still can't work out how to use a film editor. Oof. Yeah, keep saying my Luddite. I think it's virtually in every video I've done. It's not through wanting to try and learn. I struggle with things. So I think that's dry enough now. You should always wait till it's thoroughly dry. But yeah, we're gonna have to do it. Right, so taking Do Think Coats Flesh Wash. Just need a drop of that on there. Get some on your brush, and away we go. So you're just working it around the flesh, letting it go back into those recesses. Sorry, I've just caught the camera. Don't matter if you go up over the hair, it'll give you the hairline better. Oops. So there you go, that's the face done. And then the hands. I mean, some of these hands are a right weird shape. But yeah, it is what it is, I'm afraid. Nothing much I can do about it. It's just a matter of working with what we've got. So yeah, there you go. Just let that dry. Might take a little bit longer. I won't be doing batch painting on these 40mm. It'll drive me nuts. I don't do batch painting most of the time anyway. I haven't got patience for it. I paint to a certain standard and I struggle to paint down, as in lesser standard. So I just do the things the way I do them. Slow compared to most people probably, but it gives me the results that I'm happy with. So yeah, so let's just check, see how this is drying. Yeah, not too bad. I think I can start on the face. So back into the original colour, and then starting with the nose. Oops, keep catching the camera, I'm sorry folks. The nose, forehead, eyebrows, if you can catch them right. I mean, I've only been using this brush, about a week, and the tip's starting to go already. I really am struggling to find decent brushes. I've tried most manufacturers out there. Some of them are nowhere as good as they used to be. I used to use Winsor & Newton Series 7. Stopped using them because I tend to find the quality of them's dropped. I've tried the Artis Opus, done all the cleaning that they recommend and what have you. The point on some of them wasn't satisfactory for my needs. I've got some of the old Foundry ones. In fact, one of the brushes has lasted me nearly 2 years. Fine detail brush, and it's just on its way out. So with this brush end already, it's curling. So it's a bit annoying. It's a rogue hair really, but if I start chopping at it, I'm going to get a square chisel end. And I don't like that with my brushes. Makes painting a bit more difficult. So wash that out. Try and keep your brush moist. Not wet through, but moist. Keeps it better for working in. Into the middle of there. So we'll start on the hand, straight across the top where the knuckles would be. Block the back of the hand in. Oops, caught the camera again. Work out where the thumb is, do a bit on the thumb, and leaving a little gap between where we've just put that colour there, just straight down the finger. And again, nice steady hand. Again there and there. Check the underneath. Yeah, fingertips are able to be seen. And then don't see this bit, but I always do it the palm of the hand. So that's that hand done. Here we go. This hand's a bit of a pudding hand, to be fair. It's a bit, yeah, a bit malformed, or deformed, should I say. Again, back of the hand, forearm. Now around to the back of the hand. Again, straight down the back of the hand, leaving a bit of that darker shade showing. Down the fingers, and this one. I'm sorry that the camera's shaking. It's the table, and then sometimes me knocking it with my visor. So, there you go. And that's the re-highlighting of the base colour. So, next thing is bleach bone. I mean, there probably is a quicker way that people use to do theirs. Well, it's just the way I do it. Right, that much into that first colour. It's going to go drastically lighter. For me, I think that's too light. So we'll go back. Just take a dab of that dwarf flesh. Mix that back in there. Then just take some of that back down. It's enough to be off the original colour. You don't want it too stark. Oh, I feel like you don't want it too stark. That's just, again, my opinion. Just keep it nice and thin. Right, back to the nose. Start with just on the tip of the nose. You probably can't tell on this. Bridge of the nose. Part of the forehead, just above the eyes. And a little bit to create a higher forehead. Top lip. And again, unfortunately, like I said, they're not the best castings or the best out there. So you have to work with what you've got. Tops of the cheeks. Oops. Come down there, leaving a slight gap where it comes down the side of your mouth, and then the bottom from the jawbone. Just a little dot in there. Right, here's the testing bit on the other side, and down, leaving that crease. And now another testing bit. Let's see if we can get that top eyelid. This is because it's a bit more difficult because of the old brush ends getting a bit papped. Right, now knuckle, 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 and knuckle. Bit of a line down to those dots. Just above halfway down, take that down on all the fingers to where the joint is. Excuse me. On the side of there, and yeah, paint's drying already, and on there. Fingertips, just enough where they can see. That's that bit. So that bit there, a little bit there, and top part there. End of the thumb, about halfway up the thumb. Knuckle, 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 a bit of a knuckle there, not full one. Oh, sorry again. Down towards the knuckle, leaving a gap. Again, this is probably excessive for some folk, but again, down to the bend of the finger there, to the knuckle, and the joint, and again there, leaving a bit, leaving a bit of a gap. I keep forgetting I need to keep the finger in a certain place, and then the fingertips. That's that. Excuse me. And here we go again. A bit more of that each bone into there, and you can see how that changes that tone. Put a bit of water in there. It really is drying out quick. I've got a fan on as well, so that's not helping. But I ain't gonna get hot and sweaty for nobody. Right, next bit. Yeah, this brush is going. I'm hopefully impressed. Right, eyebrow. A bit of a straight line on the eyebrow. And on there, you can't tell probably on the camera. Nose end. Slight touch to the ridge. Top side of the mouth. Cheekbones. Very fine line. Jawline. Not bothering with the neck. Again on this side. Cheekbone. Jawline. Right. Knuckle, 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 and knuckle. Just the tips where it bends. Finger end can be seen. Slight touch there. That bit fingertip across the top of that bit down there. Knuckle, 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 down to the bend on each one of these fingertips. So, as you can see, folks, it's going live. It looks a bit bleached out actually. It'll look different again when you start putting facial hair and everything else around it. So now we drop onto the other two washers. Now Helium Red, good shake. Slight touch of water on your brush, mix it in so it gets a little bit thinner. This is where you know it, steady-ish hand, and you follow the hairline around. Let's just start off with following the hairline, like I said. Don't forget to go down the side of the goatee. Right, around the nasal area, just a very fine line. This might be a bit excessive to some folk, but again, it's just the way I do stuff. Where the cheek meets the top lip, just a little fine line down there, just to give it a bit of differentiation, or whatever the word is. Right, in between the fingers, working your way down. Try not to get it over the rest of the hand. And we also need, along the edge of there, where the hand meets the clothing. Same again, where the hand meets the clothing. I'm going to do it where the arrow meets the hand. Top of that finger there where it meets, and in between that finger and thumb. Again, clothing. It's just the lightest touch. Just be gentle. Try not to get your brush absolutely wet through. And you're just using the tip really. And you're just putting that fine line back in between the fingers, just to break it up. Even if you've gone over with too much colour, it will break it up. So that's that. Oops, and one bit I forgot. Now you do need to add a little bit more water to this, into that. Not too much on your brush, into the eye socket. And the same on the other side. Don't heavily do it, just a little touch. Yeah, the eyes aren't defined very well on that. Next thing is Druka Violet from GW. Touch that on there. Same thing as before, a little bit of water. That's a bit too much on my brush there. In you go. Get a nice point on your brush. If you can get your brush to work right. Right, see where that air goes into there. Just at the top of there, a little bit deeper. Don't let it go all the way down the figure. Bottom part of the hair here. Just giving it a bit more shade really. Into there, slightest touch where the eyes are. Down the side of the goatee again. Where the hand meets the clothing, you tend to be down towards the bottom and under. around here. Again, nice and gentle, working your way up. That doesn't really need it there. You'll tell where it needs it. So I have to keep a nice thin brush down, working away from that. It's just giving it some definition. Again, you probably won't tell really till later on. Right, we'll do the lip and I'll do the eyes off screen because the eyes are eyes are eyes. You know what I mean? There's no difference in it. Right, what I use now is Pink Horror from Games Workshop at the moment. Touch of water on your brush into that pink horror, thin it out. You shouldn't really do it with your paint brush, but here we've done it now. Right, using the tip of that brush. And line where the lip is. Just creates the lip. I don't think you can see it. Right, just to take that slight darkness of the pink off, taking what we mixed as the final highlight into it, just play it around so it just lightens that pink. Steady hand, the finest line possible on the top side of that lip. So there you go, that's how I do the flesh. I don't know whether you can tell how good it is or not. Looks a bit iffy on camera. But yeah, that's the way I do the flesh on 40mm. You could do it another way using the Expert Flesh from Foundry, I suppose. Saves you doing any mixing. So, excuse me. So there you go, folks. That's the flesh. So that's it for today. Now I'll go and put the eyes in after. It'll probably be, it might be a little bit blue as I'm doing that. So I'll go screen and do that. So thank you very much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, follow, share, let your mates know about the channel. It'd be much appreciated. And I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.